There we go. Hello. Woo. It's one of your awesome hosts of The Most DJ interviewing another great artiste. Today we are focusing on Miss Bridgette. So just a little short little thing. How I met Bridgette. We grew practically a little time together in high school. She was in AXO program, if you're familiar. Recently I had the mentor, Aaron Fisher, recently on my live, and we talked about his artwork and etc. and him being a mentor on AXO. And actually, here is one of his students that he actually helped in the art field, and you eventually did graduate high school, went to college, graduated college, went to your whole career. And we're going to go all in details about this beautiful, special lady and her artistry in the whole field. But I mean, I could keep on rambling about how great Miss Bridgette is and our friendship. But I think Miss Bridgette can tell you better than I can who the heck she is. So go ahead and tell us, who is Miss Bridgette?
Yes, sure, no problem. So my name is Bridgette. I grew up in Bridgewater, New Jersey. I'm an AXO alum and also a Rutgers alum. Yeah. I graduated from Rutgers with a degree in marketing and a concentration in entrepreneurship. And yeah, during my time there, I like my business classes, but I more so found my purpose outside of the classroom when I was involved in like different community organizations and such. But unfortunately, around my junior year, I went through a bit of a rough patch in school where I was very sad and just going through a lot internally, but also with relationships in my life. And looking back on it now, it was probably depression. But at the time, I didn't know what it was, and I didn't know what to do about it. So I just started to paint. And it was just so crazy because, DJ, when I tell you, I was just crying and painting. And like, I would blend the colors and just bawl my eyes out. And it continued to happen to the point where it just felt like such a release and a relief that all the words that I couldn't find were just coming out on the canvas and talking to me. And it was so therapeutic that it changed my life, really. And so I started to wonder, what if there's other people on campus like me who are just going through a rough time, but their major isn't art, so they don't take art classes, they don't have the supplies, resources, or the network that they need to grow.
Yeah.
So with the help of a really close friend, we started the Black Aesthetic. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the homie right there.
Well, the Black Aesthetic was basically an org for minority artists on campus to create, connect, educate. It was really cool. We did pop-up paint shops, student art exhibitions at the Zimmerly, and overall just had a really great time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then currently, I know that you're part of a nonprofit organization, but due to a lot of the things that had occurred of the pandemic, sad to say, things had changed. But that's okay, because in anything, in any situation, where all of us had a little downfall due to the whole pandemic. So welcome to the club. But it's still great to see that you're still being revolutionary through it all. One thing I could definitely tell every single one of you guys, Bridgette is a go-getter. You really can't. You can't pull no type of weight on this girl down. You can't literally prevent her to do anything. She's if I could give you the best description, she's a silent, mysterious technique artist.
Thank you.
You got that vibe that like gives it like, I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm gonna just do it. I'm gonna be about it.
I like that.
Look, she's gonna say, "Yep, I'm gonna use that." So, Bridgette, definitely, through it all, practically, you really have dealt with a lot of trials and tribulations. I know emotionally, challenges through your art as well, and just even personally too. And I would love to a little bit touch on your inspiration and your motivation to keep you going each and every day. Like, how do you really get yourself motivated to keep doing your artwork and such?
I feel like there's definitely 2 or 3 parts to that, maybe, because I know what motivates me as a person on a daily basis is really just God. you know, like especially Jeremiah 29 verse 11, for I know the
Yes, I know that.
future, yes, and prosper. Yes. And every time I hear that, I just know that no matter what I'm going through, I'll come out of it all right, and like it motivates me to just keep going. But also my family, specifically like my mom and my sister. My mom has been through so much too, like more than I could even imagine going through. And my sister, I'm not sure if I've talked about her with you, but can I take a moment to talk about her? Because her name is Bridgette, and she has been a singer since I've known her. Like, I was in the womb and she was singing, and she's been just passionate about her career and dedicated to it and always working hard. Even when people told her to stop, give up, plan B, she just kept going. And now she sent us a picture this week of her with her golden record. Her first Deep End with Sleepy Hollow. And we were all just so excited. And like, she has her own apartment now and like opportunities. I know. And it just motivates me. Like, I told her, you haven't given up, and it inspires me that your passion is like means so much to you, and you made a career from it. So definitely.
Wow. So practically you really do. And I noticed that too about your fam when I once met them too, when we had our exhibition together at Above Our Studios one time. They are the big bumblebee of joy.
Yeah.
Ever see the Wilkersons? Trust and believe they are going to support her as well as you and the other person as well as the other person. They are I'm telling you, they're the Wilkersons crew. Not the family, they're the crew. They are the hype people. It's so dope. Like, I think I did. I interacted with your mother and I did interact with your sister. Yeah. I totally forgot. I think your dad was there at the event, but I don't really. Oh, he wasn't.
No.
But it had to be somebody else. Yeah. Somebody else. But I do recall seeing your mother and your sister that day, and she did buy one of my favorite pieces. I gotta show the people now that I'm talking about it. You guys could definitely go onto her Instagram. It's called @EarthMeetsSpace. All of her beautiful pieces, from sculptures to paintings to her modeling, is all here. But I got to get to that one piece. Oh my gosh, it's right. This was the event itself right here. There we go. And then you were definitely, which was so cool. We all got to speak about it into detail. I know you have a piece a little bit closer. Here it is. Yeah. This is the piece that your sister purchased, which was so awesome. And I know you are selling prints of the piece still. This one is just so phenomenal. And I remember recalling a little bit of some emotional and some intensity of the piece. And I just want you to really tell us a little bit more about the whole meeting of the whole process of this one.
Yeah. So that piece actually came from that rough night I was telling you about, where I kind of broke down and just painted for the first time since Axel, really. And it was just her. And at the time, I didn't know what it was or how to interpret it. But I realized that every time I look back on it, I learned something different about myself in a way. Like, it's just, that's why I call them thoughts and emotions, because that one emotions, the other one is thoughts. And it's just so much going on that I'm still trying to understand what it means, to be honest.
Yeah, I know. We could even see it just in the choice of practically subject. We could obviously tell it's yourself. And but it's just fascinating that you chose a red color in the eyes and the blue in the mouth. Is it a different, like, were you trying to interpret a particular like view, emotion, or expression, uh predominantly in those two uh styles and such?
Um, Honestly, what happened was I was trying to detail the eyes and I just kept getting frustrated doing it over and over again. So I just slashed through it and I was like, you know what, this is more powerful. I mean something else. So I slashed through the mouth too, and it just definitely
Mm-hmm.
what I was saying,
Mm-hmm.
I guess something about not being seen, not being heard.
Heard, yeah. Cause it just fluctuate, like it's almost as if you wrapped it
Yeah.
around in a sense, because of how well you just blend the colors too. And it's very the choices of color is down to earth. You gave earth tones. Is there a connection to the reason why you gave earth color type tones?
Naturally I just gravitate towards earth tones. But I do love bright colors as well. And something about blending is so therapeutic.
Yeah.
The color can just flow into another color. So that's kind of what happened. It was just a collision combination of colors and feelings.
Yeah. And then you had the second piece, which you matched it up to. Was this one? Definitely tell us about the inspiration and the behind scenes of this process of this piece as well.
This piece is actually someone who I was really close with in my life. I modeled it after him at first, but then it kind of just took its own shape, took its own form, and the two of them together ended up meaning something completely different about my relationship. Uh,
Mm.
and he's more of like a out out of the world thinker, I guess.
Yeah.
He loves space and just thinking. That's why his is thoughts, because he's always very analytical, especially involving like the world and our place in it.
Okay.
Always, like searching for an answer. So
Oh,
I
okay, I got you. He's
represent.
one of those, let me guess, philosophy people.
Yeah, yeah, something like that.
Got to get out your mind, get out the box. He's one of those brothers.
Yeah.
Okay.
When I put them together, it just spoke on so many different levels about like our relationship and how one is looking this way, one's looking that way, one's looking towards you, and like, or you can flip them the other way where we're both not looking at each other. And
Yeah.
it's crazy how art can kind of speak to you instead of you speaking to it.
Yes, because when you look at them separately, you do get two different perspectives. But what's really the main message is practically perception in both of the pieces. You have a really excellent way of showing and embracing uh, people's perceptions and actually getting into the tap of the curiosity. Especially for me, because when I look at every single one of your work, I'm always questioning, like, did she do this purposely? Did she do that? I see it this way, I see it that. And you'd be like, okay. Like, I've always been that type of person when it comes to your work, because I'm always getting something completely different after different after different. And even when I see them together, I want to show the folks again what it looks like together. Here we go. Like, even when I see it together, it still is just, it makes a one big piece itself too, because you got two different stories, two different subjects, but something about it still keeps it together. I know it's because of the colors that help keeping it your eyes in that focus, but it's just the meaning and the um it's just so soothing. In a sense, you just get curious to know the relationship of the two as well, but also their own inner relationship with themselves. And that's something that's just really I just quickly pick up on. And I just really just find it so fascinating. And there's one more piece I really want to like go into detail too. I love it when I tell everyone them hands can sculpt. Them hands can sculpt. I love it when she do her sculpting pieces. I remember you that's what was one of the pieces. I don't know if you have it, but you had the one where it was the hands like this.
Oh, yeah.
You were chained. And I forgot where. I know you placed, but I forgot where you placed that time.
Yeah, I got silver for that sculpture. And
yeah, that was an axle, and that was like phenomenal. And ever since, seeing you sculpt just in general is just OMG.
The beautiful mystical illusion of the broken feels like
yeah, she's not finished yet. We're working on it.
I know, but even still, it's like I get so excited because I'm like, I'm like even just seeing it like this is like, yo, and it's not even finished yet, and I'm already excited. And so what is the material that you actually use into this piece as well for your sculpting, by the way? Is this clay?
Yes, that is clay. I actually prefer clay and sculpture over painting, but it's kind of harder to get access to those materials.
Yes.
So when I do have them, I always go hard for it. And it's funny because the flower on the top is actually just something I picked up in a store randomly one day.
Wow.
Yeah, I was working on the sculpture at the time, making busts, and I just saw it. And when I went home, I was going to make it just a candle. It fit perfectly on her head. And it ended up giving it even more meaning.
Yeah. It's, it's just, oh my gosh. It's just so beautiful and just magentic of a piece that you just really just can't just like stop staring. And I know right now, like you said, it's still not finished due to the fact you have to like practically what you said. Can anyone have a kin that I can borrow? If anybody wants to help Bridgette, can somebody find her a kin to like finish this? Definitely. This is why we have to have these interviews so we can help one another seriously, because it's artwork like this that just can't keep you stopped from seeing what you really just love. And I know you have others. I'm going to be showing that soon, but it's just something authentic about this one. When did you start it? And give us a little bit more juice about.
So I was practicing making busts for a while, and so this one was kind of I guess outlined already. But after going to a protest on Saturday in New Brunswick, something about it just kind of didn't sit right with me in a way, because it's like we're out there in the streets just shouting and yelling, and we hear each other, but it's almost like no one else hears us. And I don't know, as soon as I came back from that, I just wanted to put that into the bust and represent that in the sculpture, where it's kind of just her mouth is open, maybe yelling, but also like her eyes are open, and just I'm still trying to figure out what she's trying to do. Yeah, but right now I want it to represent like that power, but also that discouragement in a way.
Yeah, because it do like it looks of an expression of fight, but also looks at an expression of I'm woke to. And what I mean by woke, for people who don't know what woke means, practically it's an awakening of really seeing the true situations and issues of what's going on with police brutality, racism, and etc. And you do kind of give us that vibe when we see like the eyes not really like the eyes there, but not the eyes really not there, and the mouth expression. It's just the expression already tells you off the back of the overall feeling. And now hearing that you personally went to the Black Lives Matter movement in New Brunswick, it's brilliant how social social issues and morals and etc. can trigger the artistry to say, I gotta do something about it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing I would love to go in detail about with you. Like, what is your perspective about the whole Black Lives Matter movement and your experience of this as well?
So that's a lot. To be honest, right now I'm trying to avoid social media just because of what happened with the results of Breonna Taylor's case. Because I feel it so much. I feel the weight, the pain, the just shouting at a brick wall. And I hate that feeling where I like repost and do all this and that, but I'm still not heard. Even in school, I grew up in a predominantly white high school and neighborhood where it's kind of like you're there, you're Black, but you're not really there, you're only Black. And it's just, honestly, I'm glad that we're still protesting. I'm glad that we're still trying to make a change, but I'm just going to keep doing what I can do to individually make change in the world.
Yeah. And your art, like I said, your art speaks volumes to your point of view, and you use your art as the weapon to change people's minds and their perception. Once again, you have this beautiful rule of thumb of, I gotta get into people's perception of my view of this particular topic. You don't realize it, but you are very political in your artwork, which is a great thing, because we need art to really challenge and explore in a different way. It's some people would probably take offense, some people probably won't take offense, because once again, perception. But it's just so beautiful, and the way that you have a mindfulness of your work, and you use that inner chord and say, this is not really feeling right in my gut. I don't know the words, but I know the drawing, I know the painting, I know the sculpting. And that's really fascinating about you, Bridgette, is that sometimes we don't have to know the words. I don't know the words sometimes too. I could be up here just blah, blah, blah. Sometimes I don't know the words either myself either, but I know enough of this feeling. And that's just where I think that's what you're trying to express, is that you may not have the correct words or saying of how you view all of it, but you do know how to image it correctly from where you're coming from. And that's that's just revolutionary itself, because there's a lot of artists who get interviewed or whatever, and they say the same thing just like you. They don't know how to express, but just to have the work say it for them. That's fine.
Yeah. Honestly, I learn a lot from my art too.
Exactly. And it's a teaching moment. You actually do learn more about yourself when you work on the piece. So maybe that's what it is for, maybe that's what it is to need to be for you when you're doing the artistry. And for other people too, take heed. There's multiple ways to really express how you do feel. You don't have to. I think that's one thing you are currently at a time period of. Me and you even agreed together that we're both at a time period of wanting to transform ourselves, not just in the artistry, but just in our personal life. Because we did touch upon that multiple times whenever we would speak to each other.
Yes.
And that's what made me always get closer to you, because it was like, our artistry, we'll just see our artwork and just really just be like, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. So, it definitely brings me to, the beautiful question. How do you change the world with your painting, with your sculpting, with your everything, girl.
Yeah. So what I would like is that my art could change the world by, like, as you said before, changing perspectives, of what an artist looks like, of what art looks like, by focusing on Black people, specifically the Black experience, and just changing people's perceptions of also what art is. Because I've noticed when I was running the Black aesthetic, one of my favorite moments was when a student would come in and they would say something like, oh, I can't art, or I don't art, I'm not an artist. And that's solely based on misconceptions they have, like stereotypes of what an artist looks like. And when you kind of sit down with them and you paint with them or whatever, and you're talking and you help them to realize that, hey, listen, you had the same canvas and paints as everyone else in this room, but you chose that right there. And you did that because of your experiences, your emotions, whatever. But regardless of your skill level, it's still art. And that makes you an artist, just creatively expressing what's inside of you. And even when I was working with children, you kind of help them to learn, like, hey, it doesn't matter if you think an artist is just some French guy in an apartment or whatever. You are an artist when you problem solve. You're an artist when you write. You're an artist whenever you creatively express yourself and things that, other people can't. So I'd love to change the world with just perceptions and perspectives revolving around art, definitely.
Yeah. Well, there we go. And I just love that about you, Bridget. It's because we need people like you to actually challenge us and to really get us at a moment of, we need those folks because, first of all, let's be real, there's nothing wrong when we go to museums and art and we don't really commonly really see us. If we see us, we're at this beautiful, nice hallway, but the rest of it, European art. And that's another thing. We gotta take in consideration. There is multiples of art that is not really being seen, and I'm talking about current work. And the overall essence of what you're doing is just you're taking one and you're teaching one too while doing your own artwork. You're teaching yourself, you're teaching your family, you're teaching your friends, you're teaching a stranger you may not even have known before that art is a form of, there's no such thing as bad or good art.
No, there's not.
Yeah, and that's what's really the beauty about how you change the world through your artistry. So once again, it is the Miss Bridget.
Yes. And
so, would you like to say anything?
Yeah, I want to say that I also appreciate how you're changing the world, by starting this platform where you're giving a voice to people who aren't always heard. And, it's beautiful what you're doing.
100%. Trust me. I'm working on it. It takes a team. It's a village. It takes a team. It takes a village. I really can't. I can't take the credit for it because it's people like you and people around you. Just every single one of you guys are the reason why I'm able to do what I'm doing, is because you guys doing what you're doing. So I can't take credit of all of it. I can take some, but I can't take all. Definitely, you guys, if you're ever interested of seeing more of Bridget's work, you can follow her on her Instagram page. It's called Earth Meets Space. In addition, she has a website link right here where you can shop and purchase your artwork too. Let me show that real quickly. I'm gonna do that real quick. Boop, boop, boop. Give me 1 second. And here we go. Woohoo! So, Art by Bridgette. Once again, it's www.earthmeetspace.com. You can see her art gallery, and you can see, practically more of her artwork that she has here. And if you ever want to shop for some more art pieces and prints, you could definitely message her on Instagram or even over here on her website. She'll definitely give you in detail about all the things that she's done. I mean, it's all self-explained. It's literally art by Bridgette. So once again, thank you guys so much for staying tuned on my awesome, lovely show. Thank you, Miss Bridgette, for your time. I definitely pray and hope that all things is well in continuation. And you already know, you always have a home right here with me.
Thank you for having me, DJ. I really
So once again, you guys, we're going to love one another. We're going to hug one another virtually safely. But most importantly, we're going to do some artistry together. Thank you guys so much. And make sure to subscribe on my YouTube, like, comment, and whatever you want to do. Once again, thank you guys so much. Bye.
Bye.